or your blade on blade. As soon as they get past that and that pops, you're down to your grappling bubble, which is your arm distance, but not an extended arm distance.
Can you generate your bubbles?
What fraction of a gav is the Krieg bubble?
So your Krieg bubble is approximately 1/2 gav typically. So,
Is that SI
Can you
unit?
force heal to a bubble as well?
grab a sword. Somebody got a sword? Could you pass me a sword? Can you down there something? There's a sword.
Tackling is of your own mage down, you realise.
Observe. Go to a mid-blade bind. Okay. Distance between us? Gav, lay down on the floor.
About a half gap.
You've got a half gap, right? Half gap between your front feet. Now, if we've got to this point, and there's no gaps between us, we're grappling. So gear at zero. Once you get gav out of the equation completely, you're in a fist fight. So that's the typical rule. So that's how it works. That's your distances. Easy. Zufect and Krieg grappling. Your line, we know there's our body line, our target body. So that's our, in military terms, that's our figure 4 target. That's what people shoot at on it. Okay? Center line, we would like to have a sword covering it as much of the time as we possibly can. What we don't want to have is a sword that covers the area outside that line. This is bad. So if you find yourself in a position where you're parrying here, either you're protecting someone who's standing next to you, or you're using your hands too far out of distance. Go out here, everything is now relying on these little shoulder muscles and everything like that. Even if we've done lots of overhead presses and we're really hardcore, it's going to be really tiring. Just sit into it, right? Here's where it needs to be. We don't need to be out here. Here. It's in this line. So these are our train tracks that we want to keep our parries inside of. Luckily, they're also the indicator points for when we should do different things. So, let's say this is our opponent, and his sword point is out here, and our sword point is somewhere else. Let's take him the other way, because now he's a left-hander all of a sudden. Let's pretend he's a right-hander, so his hands are down here, his sword point is outside our center line. His center line is free. He's crossing his center line with our blade, so we cannot get down the center line. Then we need to take control of his weak, stab him in the face. His blade is outside his center line, protecting the guy next to him. Abneyman around the outside. This is what we've talked about the whole time, right? Straightforward stuff. And relative blade position is the only other thing that we've really talked about to any degree, and that's where his blade is on mine. So, if we are tip to tip, docking, there, you're not going to do any of the winding. It's weak squared. It's weak on weak. You can't do anything with that, right? You're going to just push into the track. Conversely, if we are approximately mid-mid, that gives us lots of options. That's where we do all of our outer windings and inner windings. If I get my opponent, and I'm weak on weak, and I try to do, he parries me across and I try to do outer winding on him, I can't even reach it. Why am I winding to the outside? That's just, all I'm doing is opening my center line, so he can just sheath down the center line, right? So that's not good. Whereas if we're mid-blade, he pushes my blade across, now I've got something. Mid on mid, I've got enough of a pivot point, and he wants to pull his blade back there to protect himself, which is where we get to the next section, which is where we are. We'll go strong first. Strong on strong. Here's where we can start to wrench, do these sorts of things, or dupleren. You can do dupleren from here. Those of you who don't know what dupleren is, basically cutting behind their blade to the head. So you hit once, dupleren means doubling, 1, 2. Doubling, right? Of course, if we do it from this range, I've got nothing to protect me, so this is going to happen a lot. Whereas if we're strong on strong, and I do it, now at least my crossguard is doing something, and I'm covered behind it. So that's a useful thing. You can do all sorts of stepping out with it, but just the basics. Strong parries, dupleren. Or, if he mess you declaring up. So let's say I go to do a declaring, but he pushes his hands forward. So I'm going to go do this movement. He's going to sort of shove his hands into me. Oh, now I'm doing wrenching. So don't forget, what movement you do is the story you tell after the event, not what you planned before it. Okay? So that's declaring action. Look at my hand. I threw it in the ground, didn't I?
It's over there. Yeah.
I threw it down next time, I'm sure. Where's it down? Look at that. Luckily I brought spares. This is what I do at work. We're up there doing software diagrams. I'll throw my pens on the ground. And then there's the other situation where it's weak. He's bouncing his gav.
Trav bouncing balls.
So if my weak is anywhere in his mid to strong, so here, you're strong, I'm weak, so go up to a constant. Then that's changing through to Vic Class. Typically. These don't always apply. So that's strong squared. And that's weak V strong. Right? Those are the situations that most often occur. Yeah, technically there are 9 combinations of blade that we could talk about, and we could add another extra dimension to add grappling to it, so we could have 16 potential crossings. We're not going to.
This isn't Distrether.
No. So if you want Tibbo says, okay, here's my sword. Actually, he doesn't have a knuckle bow because he says they're for softies.
Read.
And he says, okay, 1. So that's how I divide my blade up, so I can have any combination of that and my opponent's blade. That would be a big table to draw up. Of course, he doesn't include any tables in his book. He then just goes on to say, if you're around this point, which roughly works out to strong mid-blade. So, yeah, so much for the scientific method of the 17th century. Everything had to be mathematical. Okay, so, with these things in mind, I haven't talked about everything yet. We've also got blade contact. There are some movements which remain in blade contact, some movements which release blade contact. Okay. When you all hit me with your list of things that happen. What do we do in the bind? In the creek. Techniques. People who've been around for a while. Tell me what techniques you're doing. We've just done a whole bunch.
What just happened?
Yeah, pick some of the techniques. Okay.
Just there.
Yeah. Some of the ones that I said, hey look, this demonstrates this.
Schießen.
Schießen, okay.
Befliegen.
Okay, we've got Schießen.
Oh, well, not the joiny one.
The joining one, but when you cut over to the other side.
Yes.
Abnehmen?
Yes, that's the one.
Right, any others? One to ox, which is setting off, which is called
Versetzen?
versetzen or absetzen.
Ah, crap.
I mean, literally, you've got ab here, so. By the way, Schießen, if you do it from out of distance, is also called ansetzen. So, an is on, ab is off, setting on, setting off. Right? What else? What else did we do? Anything we've done in the last day, a couple of lessons.
Dirkwechseln?
Okay, excellent. Okay, cool. Alright. Can we come up with any others? I've got like 12.
Mutieren, Duplieren?
Victoria Dupler, okay. Right, anything else?
Winded one.
Out of winding? Yeah, like a blind strike. Okay, cool. Anything else? Zucker? Zucker. Who said Zucker? Is that you, Trev? Nope. That was you hiding down behind. Sure. Zucker. Yeah, Zucker's good. Sure, no, have a name of that. Okay. Other things that can happen that aren't specifically the ones we've talked about, but we've done them. I think miry ones where you cut around.
Ablaufen?
Yeah, ablaufen. So ab, away, or off. Laufen, flowing. Those of you who don't know what ablaufen is, we're here. Let's say he goes to push forward with a thrust down the center line. That is ablaufen. It's a Krieg movement.
What's Uber?
Overrunning?
So, Überlaufen is overrunning. That's something different. That's typically, let's say I'm here and he goes to cut up my legs and I hit him in the head. I overreach him with distance. But that's not Krieg, it's out of Krieg. But yeah, it's good to know the difference, right? Ablaufen is that. We all do it subconsciously, regardless. There's one more. Well, there's a couple more. What about Sperren, yeah, which is a Krumpau in contact. And the other one, which we haven't really talked about, is we've kind of done it. Is things like we did it with the changing through actually. So there's different types of changing through and movement. So typical changing through is we're here and we go under the blade and attack the other sideline, right? But what if we go from here, he goes up into Kron, and I just attack here. Knuckle strike? Yeah.
Like a hand shuken?
Yeah, knuckle strike, which is a hand strike, yeah. Nickelhau. Knuckle strike. Likewise, let's say he attacks me above, and I've got here into Einhorn. Now I decide to wind and continue on the same side of his wrist up with a slice there, which is the opposite of a knuckle strike, which is a
Windhau.
a Windhau, yeah. Okay. So without getting into too much depth, those are the techniques of Krieg. Which seems like a lot to learn, right? I've got to learn, was that 16 things at least? I'm not that smart. So I figure if I can resolve that down to 3 things, I'll probably be happy.
What's the one below Ablaufen?
Where's that one?
Sperren.
Sperren is barring. So if we're here and I push his blade down and hold it underneath mine, that's barring. Can occur from he's going low and he's just in let's say he's just standing there in Alba and I go and just cover it. That's Sperren, barring. Basically it's just saying he can't attack this side without taking his blade all the way out of presence. So he's either got to change through or schnappen over. Schnappen, of course, being a variation on Ablaufen. Right? So, let's do some characteristics. Let's talk blade contact. Schießen, do we need any blade contact? Is this dependent in any way on blade contact? So we don't have to worry about that. This one is a question mark. When does that one come into play? We'll figure that out later. Abnehmen. Do we maintain or release blade contact there?
Release and goes back.
So release, so I'm going to use a symbol. I'm going to say, okay, if we're in really close blade contact, I'm going to use that. So our blades go close to each other, but they do move apart. Okay, Absetzen, in or out of blade contact? In blade contact, right? We don't take our blade away at any stage in Absetzen. So our blades are crossed. Direct Wechsel, does it stay crossed? Does it go a long way away from each other, or does it stay quite close?
Close.
Yeah, so it goes around, a long way away or close?
Close.
Close, okay, we'll call that a close one. Mutieren? Maintains. Duplieren? Auswenden?
Maintain.
Blendhout? Maintains. Zucken?
Yeah.
Yeah, comes out, goes back in really close. Ablaufen? Maintains. It kind of leaves it though, right? So to get the follow-up, I'd say that's a major break of contact because you're literally getting into a position where you've got to cut all the way around to get the blade back
Is
on.
the cut separate from the Ablaufen?
Typically you would consider it that, otherwise you would be just in hang and top. So I'm going to call that blades are away from each other. Sperren? Nickelhau? He goes high. Leaving contact. Leaving contact? Yeah. Far away or close, do you reckon?
Depends on how good you are at it.
Yeah. Depends how good you are at it, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I'll call it that. Let's say it's close. Windhau? Yeah. There.
Leaves.
Leaves. Close. Pretty close. Stays close to the blade, yeah. Okay. So, barring Ablaufen, we can collect things into things that stay really close, or on the blade, sorry. Got a whole bunch of those. Those stay on the blade. What characterizes those? Show me abscess. Right, yeah. Show me from abscess, show me auswinden or blind strike. All right, from the blind strike, what else have we got? Show me, all right. Show me material. Yeah. Instead of material, show me duplicity. Right, what's he doing in all those things?
Winding around the blade.
Right, winding around the blade. So I think from that we can say there's one thing that you can do. Let's just say a category of turning your hips and winding around. Turn, wind.
But not the barring.
Barring.
Still turning.
Imagine if I did a winding this way. So I'm here, and I go here. It's just turning your hips and winding. Just so happens I put my point downwards, right? It's not really doing anything, so, okay. Things where I go in close blade contact. What would you call those? There's a modern fencing term that covers it. It's a really good word. Any movement where you go close to the other person's blade. I use it a lot in class.
Engage.
Disengage.
Dis-
So disengage. And that can be over, under, side. So disengage over. Disengage under. Disengage to the side. Right. Give yourself, yeah. And what else we got? I guess that leaves cutting around. And that covers any situation where we've come to a bind and we go, oh shit, I'm going to cut around for something. Happens all the time. Probably 50% of points in tournaments. Right? Big movement around, but a cut to the side. Typically like that. Big duck out of the way. But it happens. It's a cutting around. I'm trying. Can include Ablaufen as part of it, otherwise no. And that leaves Schiessen as a question mark. But let's say we use Schiessen. He takes his sword away. I either stab him, cut him, or slice him. So it's just a direct attack, right? So let's just say attack. And that might be point, cut, slice. Right, now you can throw all the other techniques out. You don't need any technique. You only have 4 techniques. You have a turn, you have disengage, a cut around, or an attack. These are things that happen potentially as a counterattack, things that happen from a parry or something like that, things that happen in absence of a threat. Get good at simple things. Then describe them to your colleagues as these things. Yeah, these are descriptive. They're in the book, not to say, now you must learn the wind how and apply the wind how in XYZ situation. They're there as training tools. So when I get out and I say, okay, we're going to do a drill where you attack, he binds, then I cut underneath like that. All right, knuckle strike. So instead of saying, the coach will attack, he will then lift his hand, I will then cut around underneath. I'll say, okay, coach attacks, you do a knuckle strike when he moves out of distance. It's just a descriptor. All right? It's just like in science, we use specific words to describe the same things that occur again and again. Computer programming, we have this idea called design patterns. It's just like things that show up again and again and again. That's all that. It's just a particular application of one of these things. So the design pattern will be disengaging. Specific implementation will be zucker. I want to disengage him because I need to get to the other side of his blade because he's come over here somewhere. Let's look at where my blade positions are. Okay, am I mid-blade and sufficient to cut around? No, not really. Am I in a position where I can cut around under his hands? No, it's too far away. Therefore, for this particular one, the type of disengagement I'm going to use is the same movement, round and thrust. Right? So when you're doing your training and when you're practicing, just think these three things. This should happen on its own. This is the secondary objective. Hit the opponent, right? It's the objective. You can't take that objective out of fencing, because if you take that objective out of fencing, you're no longer fencing. You're just standing there being hit. Cool, that's great. But these are the means to arrive at this. If they've not put you in a position where you need any of these things, you can go straight to that. If they're too far away, you don't do any of them. Just wait around until he shows up. Or chase up, your choice. So, with this in mind, let's talk about the specifics of these individual things. We've done a lot of turning around and winding. We did a lot of that last week. Now, I would also point out, this is an ordered list. Conveniently. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I can, it's a good idea to maintain blade contact and wind. Blade at all times. I don't leave control of the blade. It's good. If I can't, then I'm obliged to change the side. In that changing side moment, there is a fraction of a second where you can just thrust down the same way. Because look, she's sitting, right? So it's an option. It's secondary. If I can keep blade contact and control, yes. If I have to disengage, make sure I'm in a position where I can do so safely. If I'm in such a position where here, I can no longer disengage under, he's pushed me, suppressed me right around, he's pushing my blade down, I can't wind, there's nothing to wind to, I've got nothing. So now I'm obliged to use the third option, cutting around. Which leads me to an attack. And it's that simple. So all of fencing, all of our German fencing can be characterized in these four things. And eventually you can characterize it just the top one, but we'll get to that another time. Everyone clear on that? So you're happy with my theory?
There's cutting around number 3 of 3 because you have to leave the line so much through it.
Yeah, so it's a bad option because as soon as I'm in a position where he's suppressed me enough that I have to take my blade away and move all the way out of range, just press the hand. Yeah? I'm at his mercy because from cutting around, I basically gave him a changing through without him having to work through it. So he was one step up the chain from me. So if you can get one step up the chain from someone, so let's say he goes to change through on my sword. Okay, cool. As he changes through, I add Setsen. I have the superior technique. I'm further up the tree than him. It's not a hard and fast rule, but it's just a general principle, right? You will find exceptions. So if I'm here and I decide to go out of winding, technically he could shoot me at the same time. Yeah. So I've wound, he's wound. Everybody's wound. What happens? I don't know. You've got to figure that out in a moment. But that is what indes is. Making that decision without having to think about it. We all know what the vor is. I attacked first, did make him do something. He reacted in the nut. Once we got to the Krieg, indes. What's the situation? Mutiran. Right? That's choosing that, and that's the hard bit. Once you get good at that, you don't have to worry about, these are all the things I can do. Yes, learn all the things. They teach you how to move your body. Get good, think about the tactics. Tactical view, technique view. Right, here ended the lesson. Now we're going to do some sword fighting.